The void of space burned. Plasma fire ripped through the rebel outpost, turning steel and flesh to ash in seconds. The Zarathian 7th Armada hovered like a pack of wolves, their black and crimson warships blotting out the stars. On the bridge of the flagship Iron Will, Grand Admiral Korvax watched the destruction with cold satisfaction. "Broadcast to all nearby systems," he commanded, his voice like grinding metal. "Let them see what happens to those who defy the Empire." A hologram flared to life above the comm console, his face, scarred and pitiless, transmitted across the sector. "This is Grand Admiral Korvax. The Empire is eternal. Resistance is death. Submit or burn." The transmission ended. The outpost exploded. Elsewhere, on the fringes of the Andromeda 7 sector, the Starjack, a beat-up smuggler's freighter, shuddered as it dropped out of warp. Inside the cramped cockpit, Captain Elias Vex exhaled sharply, his fingers dancing over the controls. "Damn patrols," he muttered, wiping sweat from his brow. The Starjack's engines whined in protest. Another jump like that, and they'd be dead in the void. His co-pilot, a grizzled old mechanic named Rook, snorted. "Told you we shouldn't have taken that job." Vex smirked. "And miss out on 50,000 credits, please." A proximity alarm blared. Vex's smirk vanished. On the scanner, 3 Zarathian interceptors streaked toward them. "Criff," Rook spat. Vex slammed the throttle. The Starjack lurched forward, dodging a volley of plasma fire. He veered sharply, weaving through the wreckage of an ancient battlefield. Broken warships, frozen corpses, the graveyard of a long-dead war. Then his sensors lit up. Something else was out there. A shape emerged from behind a derelict cruiser, sleek, silver, and utterly unlike any ship Vex had ever seen. It moved silently, gliding past the Starjack, as if they weren't even there. Then it fired. A beam of blinding blue light lanced out, slicing through the lead interceptor like paper. The other 2 Zarathian ships erupted into panic, banking hard. But it was too late. 2 more shots, 2 more explosions. Silence. Vex's heart pounded. What the hell was that? Before Rook could answer, the comm crackled. A voice, smooth and synthetic, filled the cockpit. "Captain Elias Vex, you have been observed." Vex froze. The silver ship, now hovering directly in front of them, pulsed with light. Its hull bore a faded insignia, a golden eagle wrapped in thorns, an old symbol, a human symbol. Rook's face went pale. "That's impossible." Vex opened his mouth, just as the long-range scanner beeped. A new contact. A lot of them. Zarathian reinforcements, and they were closing fast. The Starjack shuddered as Vex punched the engines, veering away from the silver warship. Behind them, the Zarathian reinforcements emerged from warp, a full battle group, their weapons already charging. "Get us out of here," Rook barked, gripping the console. Vex gritted his teeth, working on it. But the Starjack's engines were overheating, still strained from their last escape. The nav computer spat out a grim warning. They wouldn't outrun the Imperials. Then the silver ship moved, in a blur. It positioned itself between the Starjack and the Zarathians. Its hull shimmered, and for a second Vex thought it was going to attack. Instead, a pulse of energy rippled from its core, disrupting the enemy's targeting systems. The comm crackled again. "Follow, or die." Vex exchanged a glance with Rook. Neither of them trusted this, but staying meant certain death. "Fine," Vex muttered, wrenching the controls. "But if this is a trap, I'm taking you down with me." The silver ship led them through a debris field, its movements precise, almost graceful. It wove between shattered hulls and drifting wreckage, forcing the Zarathians to slow down or risk collisions. After 10 tense minutes, they reached a hidden jump point, an unstable wormhole, barely detectable. Coordinates locked. "Jump now." Vex hesitated. Wormholes were dangerous, unpredictable. But the Zarathians were closing in. "Hold on to something," he warned Rook, then engaged the drive. The Starjack lurched violently as space twisted around them. For a heartbeat, everything stretched into streaks of light. Then they were through, spat out into an uncharted system. The silver ship floated nearby, unharmed. Vex let out a slow breath. "Okay, Who the hell are you? A pause. Then designation. Dawnbringer. Last operational vessel of the Terran Defense Fleet. Rook choked. That's impossible. Earth's fleet was destroyed centuries ago. Incorrect. We survived. We waited. Vex's skin prickled. The Dawnbringer wasn't just some rogue warship. It was a relic, a ghost from a dead civilization. And if the Zorathians found out it existed, why reveal yourself now? He asked. The AI's voice softened, almost human. Because the time has come to fight back. Meanwhile, aboard the Iron Will, Grand Admiral Korvax studied the sensor logs from the battle. The silver ship's weapon signatures matched no known design. No rebel faction had that kind of tech. His comm officer turned, face pale. Sir, we've identified the insignia. It's Terran. Korvax's fist clenched. Earth's forces were annihilated. Then what is that? The Admiral stared at the hologram of the silver ship, his blood running cold. If this was a trick, it was an elaborate one. And if it wasn't, alert High Command, he ordered, and ready the fleet. That ship does not leave this sector alive. Back in the uncharted system, Vex paced the Starjack's cramped cockpit. The Dawnbringer had transmitted schematics. A hidden Earth military depot, buried in an asteroid belt. Weapons, data, answers. Rook rubbed his temples. Even if we find this place, what then? You really want to pick a fight with the Empire? Vex smirked, but it didn't reach his eyes. I just want to get paid. And right now that ship's our best ticket. The Dawnbringer's comm light blinked. Prepare for docking. We have little time. As the silver ship's hangar bay opened, Vex's scanner pinged. Faint, but unmistakable. Zorathian scouts, skirting the edge of the system. They'd been followed. The Dawnbringer's docking clamps locked onto the Starjack with a metallic groan. Vex grabbed his sidearm, eyeing the airlock warily. If this goes bad, shoot first. Rook checked his own weapon. You think bullets will work on a 1,000-year-old warship? Optimism, Rook. It's a virtue. The airlock hissed open, revealing a pristine corridor lit by pale blue lights. The air smelled sterile, like old metal and ozone. No crew, no life, just silence. A holographic sphere flickered to life in front of them. The Dawnbringer's AI. This way. Vex followed, fingers resting on his gun. The ship was massive, its halls lined with dormant weapon systems and sealed doors marked in faded Terran script. The depot is in the Naxos belt, the AI said. Weapons, shields, data cores containing Imperial weak points. Rook whistled. You've been busy. Waiting requires patience. Vex stopped. Why us? Why now? The AI paused. You are predictable. The Empire does not expect you to fight back. Vex snorted. Charming. Back on the Iron Will, Korvax studied the latest reports. His scouts had lost the Dawnbringer near the Naxos belt, a notorious graveyard of dead stars and ion storms. Set a trap, he ordered. Flush them into the Nebula of Tears. His tactical officer hesitated. Sir, the nebula's radiation will disrupt our systems too. Korvax silenced him with a look. I don't care if we have to fight blind. That ship dies today. The Starjack and Dawnbringer emerged near the Naxos belt, a swirling mass of asteroids and debris. Vex's scanners flickered, interference from the belt's magnetic fields. Depot should be on the far side, Rook muttered, squinting at the readouts. The Dawnbringer suddenly banked hard. Incoming vessels. Zorathian. Vex cursed. 3 frigates dropped out of warp, their cannons glowing. They hurting us? Yes. The Dawnbringer pivoted, firing a volley that forced the frigates to scatter. But more ships appeared, cutting off escape routes. Only one path remained, the Nebula of Tears, a swirling purple haze of charged particles. They're boxing us in, Rook realized. Vex gritted his teeth. Nebula it is. The moment they entered, the Starjack system screamed. Static filled the comms. Navigation failed. Can't see a damn thing, Rook yelled, slamming his fist on the console. Outside, the nebula's gases twisted like living things, swallowing the ship's hull. The Dawnbringer's silhouette flickered ahead, its shield sparking against the radiation. Then silence. The Zorathians had stopped firing. Vex's skin prickled. They're waiting. They expect us to drift until systems fail, the Dawnbringer said. Then board us. Rook wiped sweat from his brow. Got any ancient Terran tricks to fix this? A pause. Then perhaps. The Dawnbringer's hull shimmered, emitting a low-frequency pulse. Across the nebula, the gases rippled, then contracted, surging toward the Zorathian ships. What the hell? Vex started. Ion surge. Their shields will overload. Like clockwork, the nearest frigate's engines flared, then died. Alarms blared across its hull as systems failed. Vex grinned. Now we run. The Dawnbringer surged forward, the Starjack in its wake. Behind them the nebula erupted into a storm of lightning, swallowing Korvax's trap hole. On the Iron Will, Korvax stared at the static-filled holoscreen, his fists clenched. Find them, he whispered, before they do real damage. The Starjack limped out of the nebula, its hull scorched from radiation burns. Vex ran a systems check with growing frustration. Shields at 23%, engines still unstable. Next time, Rook muttered, elbow deep in the power relay panel, we let the ancient death ship go on without us. The Dawnbringer hung motionless ahead of them, its silver surface gleaming despite the nebula's punishment. A new alert pinged on Vex's console, an incoming transmission, heavily encrypted, not Imperial. Vex noted, hand hovering over his pistol, but not friendly either. The screen resolved into the face of a young woman in a Zorathian lieutenant's uniform, her dark hair pulled into a tight bun. A fresh scar ran down her left cheek. Captain Vex, she said, voice steady. I'm Lieutenant Sarah Vell, of the 7th Armada, and I'm here to defect. Aboard the Dawnbringer's cavernous hangar bay, Vex kept his weapon drawn as Sarah's shuttle touched down. The ramp lowered to reveal the lieutenant alone, hands raised. You'll want to see this, she said, tapping a data crystal against her thigh. Rook scanned her with a handheld device. No trackers, but that doesn't mean she's clean. Sarah's gaze flicked to the Dawnbringer's walls. I never believed the stories about Terran ships, not until today. She tossed the crystal to Vex. Korvax is building something. A planet killer. The holoprojector flared to life, displaying schematics of a massive cylindrical weapon. Vex's stomach dropped. The Tear of Vel, Sarah said. One shot can crack a world's core. He's testing it on the rebel moon of Deneris in 72 hours. The AI's voice echoed through the bay. This violates the Sirius Convention. Even the Zorathian Empire outlawed such weapons. Sarah barked a laugh. Since when has Korvax cared about laws? Vex paced the length of the hangar, the weight of decision pressing down. Even if we warn them, Deneris can't evacuate in time. We don't need to evacuate them, Sarah countered. We need to destroy the weapon first. Rook threw up his hands. With what? The Starjack's barely spaceworthy. And your ship, he gestured at the Dawnbringer, is one against a fleet. The AI interrupted. The Naxos depot contains Terran pulse torpedoes, effective against planetary siege weapons. Vex stopped pacing. That's a suicide run. Sarah met his gaze. It's that or let millions die. Outside the viewports, the distant stars burned cold and indifferent. On the bridge of the Iron Will, Korvax examined the Tear of Vel's readiness report. His comm officer approached cautiously. Sir, we've lost contact with Lieutenant Vel's patrol. Korvax didn't look up. Find her, and prepare the weapon for immediate deployment. The officer paled. But Deneris isn't scheduled until now, Korvax said softly, or you'll join them. The Dawnbringer hurtled through space, its engines burning at maximum capacity. Vex watched the tactical display with narrowed eyes. The Naxos depot was still 12 minutes away, but Korvax's fleet had already mobilized. Time to Deneris, he asked. 23 hours until the Tear of Vel is in firing position, the AI replied. Rook cursed under his breath. Even if we get those torpedoes, we'll never reach Deneris in time. Sarah leaned over the console, her fingers flying across the controls. There's another way. The old comm hub at Taranis Station. It's got a direct relay to every major system in the sector. If we can access it, we can expose Korvax's plan before he fires. Vex raised an eyebrow. And how do we get past the garrison? A holographic projection flickered to life. The Dawnbringer schematics. My core contains Earth's final transmission. Proof of the Empire's lies. If we broadcast it galaxy-wide, the rebellion will have its spark. Vex exhaled sharply. So we split up. One team hits the depot for torpedoes. The other takes the station. Sura nodded. I'll lead the strike on Taranis. I know the layout. Rook crossed his arms. And when the Empire scrambles every ship they've got to stop us. Vex smirked. Then we make sure they're too busy chasing ghosts to notice the real threat. The Naxos depot was a graveyard of forgotten weapons. Its corridors lined with dust-covered war machines. Vex moved cautiously, scanning for traps. Terran pulse torpedoes, Rook muttered, pulling a tarp off a rack of sleek silver projectiles. These could crack a battleship in half. Vex loaded them onto the Starjack's cargo sled. Let's hope they crack a planet killer just as easily. An alarm blared. Tripwire triggered. Vex spun, weapon raised, as a squad of Zarathian troopers stormed into the chamber. Go, he shouted, laying down covering fire as Rook activated the sled. The torpedoes hummed to life, their energy signatures making the troopers hesitate just long enough for Vex to dive behind cover. Next time, Rook yelled over the gunfire. We let the ancient death ship do the shopping. Taranis station loomed ahead, its comm arrays glowing like a crown of needles. The Dawnbringer approached silently, running dark. Garrison strength, minimal. They do not expect an attack. Sura tightened her grip on the controls. Good. The moment they docked, all hell broke loose. Alarms wailed as the Dawnbringer's boarding ramp slammed down, its automated defenses cutting through the unprepared guards. Sura sprinted for the control hub, dodging plasma fire. 30 seconds, she shouted into her comm. Vex's voice crackled back. Make it 20. Korvax just diverted half his fleet to your position. She reached the main console, slamming her stolen access codes into the system. The screen flickered. Then the Dawnbringer's transmission flooded the station's buffers. This is the final broadcast of Earth Command. The Zarathian Empire has betrayed the Sirius Accords. They have. The explosion rocked the station. The Dawnbringer's voice cut off mid-sentence. Sura turned and froze. Korvax's flagship, the Iron Will, had just warped in directly above them. The Iron Will's shadow swallowed Taranis station whole. Sura's breath came fast as she watched its massive plasma cannons power up, pointed directly at the Dawnbringer. We're out of time, she whispered. Then the comm crackled. Lieutenant, the transmission is ready, but the relay needs manual activation. Sura understood. She sprinted down the shuddering corridor toward the primary dish array. Aboard the Starjack, Vex saw the Iron Will appear on scanners. Damn it, he punched the engines, hurtling toward the station. Rook gripped his seat. We can't take that thing alone. We don't have to. Vex opened a channel. Dawnbringer, distract Korvax, just for 60 seconds. The ancient warship didn't respond. It simply turned and charged. The Dawnbringer streaked toward the Iron Will, weapons blazing. Its first volley scorched the flagship's shields. The second punched through armor. Korvax's voice boomed across all frequencies. You are a relic. The Empire cannot fall. The Dawnbringer's reply was calm. Watch us. It fired again, this time hitting the Iron Will's main reactor. The explosion lit up the void. Sura reached the relay control. Her fingers flew across the panel. Come on, a final switch. A deep hum vibrated through the station as the dish arrays aligned. Broadcasting now, the Dawnbringer announced. Earth's last message erupted across every comm channel in the galaxy. Proof of the Empire's lies, of Korvax's crimes. On 100 worlds, rebellions ignited. On 1,000 ships, crews mutinied. The Empire shook. Vex docked at Taranis just in time to see the Dawnbringer's final act. Wounded, burning, it turned its remaining power toward the crippled Iron Will and rammed it at full speed. The explosion was blinding. When the light faded, only debris remained. Later, aboard a stolen Zarathian cruiser, Vex studied the star charts. Sura approached, her uniform now bearing the insignia of the new rebellion. You could join us, she offered. Vex smirked. Someone's got to keep winning this war. As they jumped to warp, a flickering hologram appeared briefly on the empty bridge, a golden eagle wrapped in thorns. Then it vanished.